Hello, my family. I am so sorry, y'all, that I did not get to get a video yesterday. I actually had to go rescue my hubby because his truck broke down. So it actually took the rest of the evening and I was not able to get a video out. So please forgive me. We are going to make today our Wednesday, and I am actually going to make this video dedicated to a question. This lady, Miss Jeanette, and I'm hoping I said your name right, had asked me if I would do a video about chickens. She is fixing to be a new chicken mama. She's looking into it and researching. Miss Jeanette, I want to tell you right now, I thank you for the question. Gladly I will help you through this as much as I know, but I also want to say I commend you because you're doing what I ask most people to do. You are researching, and that is amazing because you would be surprised how many just jump into it and have no idea what they're doing. I will give you some prime examples of what the worst case scenario is for somebody who don't know what they're doing. I have a situation right now that is really hard, and it's a bad situation indeed. Right now, chicks are hard to come by. Now, you can get eggs and hatch them yourself, but they are highly expensive, y'all. No joke. Chicks are running anywhere from $6 to $9 a piece, and that is crazy high as well. Then you run into the aspects of, well, there isn't a good amount of them for two reasons. My situation I've run into is by the time they got to the post office got a hold of the store that they're supposed to go in, they were deceased. The second option was by the time the doors, just before the doors could even open, people were lined up waiting to get all the chicks. And when they say getting all the chicks, within 10 to 15 minutes every chick was gone. This is going on everywhere around me. So those are those options. And again, you can order eggs, and I've seen those eggs as high as $95, y'all. That's crazy. So please know that this is going to be an expensive situation. I do hope that they are going to slow down. Right now, honestly, this is because I seen this in 2020. This is because of the egg prices. Now, Jeanette, thank you, darling, for investigating, for learning, doing everything beforehand. That's exactly what I did. It took me a year before I even decided to get chickens because I wanted to learn everything I possibly could. Now, I will say, once you do all your learning, afterwards it's going to be by experience, and so you can only learn so much. The rest of it's going to be as you go on. Now, I have been doing this for nearly 6 years, so I do have enough where I could share with you, and that's what we're going to do today. So y'all, I hope this helps for anybody else that's willing to find out about chickens. Also, if you're not looking to but are interested about them, this would be the video for that. So we shall be right back in just a minute. Welcome back, y'all. Okay, so we're gonna start out with, first of all, baby chicks, because most generally everybody will start with a baby chick. The baby chicks, here are a few things you have to watch out for. I had dealt with this, and this is more than likely, if you are purchasing them, this is what you're going to have to deal with. Seriously, there is a situation. Now, this is not something we would normally talk about on YouTube, and especially on this channel, but it's a real thing, and it's something you need to be concerned about. It's called pasty butt. And if anybody doesn't know what pasty butt is, it's where these babies, first of all, what causes it is dehydration. They didn't get enough liquid or fluids. The second thing, they had fluctuation in temperature change too quickly from the time of their hatching to where they got to their destination to your place. So, and then it could be there wasn't enough warmth, lighting, whatever in those situations. So, and what it is you will see on the back of the baby chicks is this little crusty spot. I know this is not a good topic, sorry y'all, but this is reality. And if you're going to learn about chicks, this is all a part of it. Now, what you're going to have to do is take a good warm damp cloth, and you're going to have to soften this up, because what's going to happen is if you do not take care of this situation, your chick will die. It needs to have freedom, basically. So please know that that's the first thing you want to check. The second thing is, any baby chick, even if you're hatching them, the first thing you want to introduce them to is water, warm water. Now, I use a Vitamin Plus electrolyte water for my baby chicks for the first week to 2 weeks. What that does is gives them nutrients, vitamins, helps build up their immune system. I order this from Georgia. This is not a promotion, y'all, not whatsoever. I have to buy this, and I did purchase this. It will last a good long time. You need 1 teaspoon per gallon, but it's GQF Vitamin Plus. You can Google that up there, or I will try to put the website in the description box below for you for those who are interested. But this will help your baby chicks thrive. You want to make sure that they have something that is going to be, well, even warm, good water. Just make sure that they get a liquid first. Then introduce them to the feed. Now, do not assume that they're going to do this on their own. They do have to be coached. If you can get one in a cluster to catch on by taking your finger and pecking it like your mama into the water or into the feed, if one baby catches on, it will teach the rest of it. So you need at least that. Another option they say is take the beaks very gently. You do not want to drown it in the water, but just take that beak to the tip of the water. When the water gets on it, they will drink it. So it lets them know that, hey, this is a liquid. Those are a couple options right there for you. But liquid is the first thing you want to introduce, then introduce your feed. The feed will have to be a medicated feed. That's the one that will help keep these babies thriving. Some people will tell you not to. I'm going to tell you the most generally, everywhere you go, your feed is going to be medicated anyways. And unfortunately, not always the case, but the majority, your babies nowadays will be vaccinated, just so you know this. It used to be where there was a choice, but nowadays there is not. So most generally, all your babies are going to be vaccinated already. So I don't want you to be surprised. Unless you're hatching your own. Then that's completely up to you. If you have your own stocks, they will not be vaccinated. So there's that. Now, I was asked, do I name my chickens? Nope, I sure don't. There are 2 reasons. The first reason is, which I do no longer do anymore, is at the time I was raising meat and eggs. I don't raise for meat anymore. I do raise just for the eggs. The meat just got to be too much for me by the time I would get to them, because I happen to love my chickens too much. They were too old. It just, I said I wasn't doing this anymore. So, but if you are doing that, you do not want to name your chickens because, well, it just makes sense. You don't want to have your pet for dinner, okay? The second option is, now that I'm not raising meat birds, I can name them. However, have you tried to take a batch, say you've got 6 Buff Orpingtons, they all look the same. Have you tried to differentiate each one to name them? I ain't got time for that. So what do? Every time I go to collect my eggs, I thank my girls, and what I say is, because I don't have names, I will say thank you mamas or thank you girls. I talk to my girls every day, but I address them as my girls or my mamas. So that's basically what I do. Roosters. Okay, y'all, so here's a real thing. This is real. There are people who honestly believe that you have to have a rooster, and this is false information. If you are raising just for eggs, and you can buy females, nothing but females. There's straight runs, which is a mixture of both male and female. You don't know what you have until the end. Or you can buy straight females. Now, if you were to buy straight female, you have all hens. Do you need a rooster? The answer is no. In their biological nature, hens will lay eggs without a rooster. The only time you need a rooster is if you want fertile eggs and you're going to hatch them. Otherwise, y'all, you don't need a rooster. No, you do not need a rooster for your hens to lay eggs. That's a natural process they have all in their own. So there's that as well. Certain breeds, I would tell you before you, another thing to research is research different breeds. Buff Orpingtons, Barred Rocks, all your different types. Do your favorite and then look at the other options. There are some that are more aggressive and some that are more docile. I prefer the more gentles. There are your broodies, which is the Buff Orpingtons, which means they will lay on their own eggs and hatch them for you. And then there are those who are not such good mamas, like I have. Easter Eggers and Brahmas do not make the best mamas, period. So just do your research on what you like. The roosters, however, I've had some Rhode Island red roosters, and I will tell you, when you've been flogged by one of those roosters and they jump at you and take those spikes into your leg like this, you will know you've been hit. That's when I actually got rid of my rooster. If they start doing that to you, the best thing for you to do is replace it, because they are going to continue to keep doing that. Unless, well, you're like me and you happen to have a broom in your hand at the time and he did that to you. Well, mine got a boot in the butt because he knew that he just done wrong. So, but they do hurt, y'all, and if you're not careful, they will leave a nasty infection into your legs. So you really don't want to do this. They don't let up. So make sure you choose the breeds, even the roosters. Now, I do know that my Brahma roosters, they have been, for the most part, fairly tame. Sometimes, though, you can just get one that has a bad mood. So watch the roosters. The Barred Rock hens can tend to be a bit aggressive, and their fact is, I'm the queen hen in this coop, and that's all that's to it. I have seen them beat up some pretty bad chicks, or not chicks, but other chickens. So do your research on what you would prefer. Not just go by color, go by characteristics. All right, eggs. Highly important, eggs. You will not, unless you're raising quail, y'all. Quail, you can see eggs in 4 to 6 weeks. Most generally in a chicken, it's going to be 6 to 8 months. If you are getting your chickens in the spring, most likely you will not see eggs until spring of next year, depending on what zone you're in. So your temperatures say a lot. So please know this, if you are doing this strictly for the eggs, you will not see your eggs anytime soon. You are going to fork out a lot of money in the meantime. Feed, brooders, heat lamps. Then you have to have a grow out place before they can go into the pen. You're going to have to introduce them if you have a flock already, and if not, you're going to have to get them temperature change from the indoors outdoors. Yes, there's a lot of work into this, so please know you're going to have to take time. See, I'll tell you, I don't raise chickens. I'm just the chicken tender. They tell me my girls are the queens of the coop. I just work for them. Just basically, I'm the chicken tender. So, yeah, they get a good life. Free range versus coops. There's a lot of controversy about that. Both are good, but I will tell you what you will need. If you are going by a coop, now some of us, like me, have restrictions. I have to keep my chickens in a coop. I cannot let them free range. So I give them the facility big enough to accommodate all of my chickens. You have to have that space, otherwise they are uncomfortable. Make sure the area is where you can keep it cleaned to the best of your ability. I use shavings in my nest box. I'm actually fixing to put a sunroof over mine because it's more shaded. Now it will keep them cool in the summer, but they need that dapple of sunlight. And under mine, I'm going to be putting this clear stuff like on this, but the rippled roofing kind on top of my coop. That way they are still shaded, but when the sun does dapple through, they will get the sunlight. They need that. It's healthy for them, like us out here. So if you are free ranging, y'all, I have seen this too many times, and it is heartbreaking. You need to know this. Have a facility for these chickens to go to at night. You may have to train them at first to be able to come to your coop or whatever you have. Make sure that the enclosure is well secured. I have to do the same. Predators are a real thing, y'all. And I'm talking possums, raccoons, hawks. Then you have your coyotes, wild dogs or dogs in your neighborhoods, cats. All of these are a predator to a chicken and will take you out in a heartbeat. We even have coyotes and foxes here too. So I learned the hard way when I say this, y'all. We had this duck sanctuary. It was really cool. You know, they had all this free range, but it had an outside fencing, but it didn't have a top covering. Something got in there and just wiped out my ducks. It's a real thing, y'all. Something can, if you are not careful. Keep an eye on your chickens. Make sure they have a place to go to at night. And make sure whatever you do, whether it's a coop or you're free ranging, to make it secure. Now, if you have a coop, how can you make it almost like a free ranging atmosphere? This is what I've been doing. You can purchase a big bag of wheat at your co-op feed store and grow it like microgreens. And I have done the big vegetable trays like you do your tomatoes for growing and, you know, stuff like that for your seedlings. The tray at the bottom of it that holds the water, I have used that to put halfway through my soil, spread my seeds on top that have been soaked, and I will grow wheat and bring that tray out to my girls, and it makes them, they scratch it and everything, so they feel like they're free ranging. When we cut our lawn, I make sure that it's very small and fine. I will throw a handful of that in the chicken coop. They scratch it, they eat it. It's almost as if they're free ranging. I find certain bugs, they love grubs. When those suckers are in my beds, they go to the chickens because they love them. So I try to treat my girls, even though they're in a coop, to make them feel like they get some kind of free ranging, and it's healthy on them, it's healthy in your eggs, and it turns out to be a win-win for both of you. So sometimes you just have to go and do the little extra, unless I'm just the weird one who does this. I don't know. That's just me. I have grown microgreens for me and them too. So I spoil my girls rotten, but they give me the most amazing eggs. My girls, sadly though, they're 5 years old, and their life, some of them, my big girls, my Brahmas, their life is going to be ending soon, unfortunately. But I'm going to let my girls, they're going on their 4th molting. Molting. Yes, we're going to talk about the molting. But my girls are going on their 4th, and this means that they're getting to a point, y'all, they're not going to lay any more eggs. I absolutely have to have new babies if I want to keep chickens, because my stocks are getting low. Not only that, to be able to incubate for my own stocks, I'm risking running into inbreeding, and I do not want to do that. So I have to start changing over. So we're getting into Easter eggers and Buff Orpingtons and whatever else I may be able to find, hopefully. If not, I'm just going to work with what I got. Now, molting. What does that mean to molt? This happens around fall every year. They will start losing their feathers. Don't panic. This is a natural process these hens go through. It's almost like going through henopause. I know, I just said that, right? Henopause. They... Sorry, y'all. Okay, so what they do is they start losing their feathers. They will look rough, y'all. I mean rough. They will do this for about a month or two. At this point, you want to feed them a high percentage feed. While they're laying eggs, 16% layer feed is absolutely fine. But when they go through the molting process, you want to add 22% at least, because this is going to be hard on their body. But also know the egg laying stops at that point. This is natural. No, y'all, this is not due to your feed. It is not due to the brand of your feed. This is natural. Let your girls go through a natural process. Some will suggest you turning on a bright light because it gets dark and all that. That does happen. Please let your chickens go through natural life. If you put a light on them, constantly keeping them laying eggs, you're going to shorten their lifespan. It's like puppy milling. You do not want to keep doing that to your girls. Let them be a part of your family. Let them go through their process. Now what mine do is I will allow them, I know at a certain time of year, okay, if I did not save my eggs and put maybe some in my freezer for scrambled eggs, although I can't bake with them, I could still make egg breakfast and stuff like that. Otherwise, okay, I'm going to have to purchase eggs for a couple months. Look, out of several from spring on down to fall, that's a good amount of eggs, y'all. So I can afford to, you know, get a couple dozen here or there and whatever. So they won't do this forever. They will pick back up again, I promise you, but just let them do their thing. After so many though, y'all, they start decreasing in the amount of eggs that they produce. I will give you an example, like Easter eggers, Buff Orpingtons. They can lay 250 to 300 eggs in a year. But after they start aging, they start getting less and less. To the point, as they get older and almost to the point of their lifespan, they will completely stop laying eggs altogether. This is why you want to do this naturally. If you push them, you're going to lose everything a whole lot sooner. So let them gracefully go through each year. Just be there with them. They will give you their everything. My girls know that when I come to the door with my bucket, they meet me at the door. They know what I'm going to do. Chickens are an amazing creature. Sometimes I'll just sit there and watch them and I'll listen to them, and they're amazing. They're peace. They bring you so much. So I want to give that back to them. I will not push my girls. I will let them go through their process, and I will just be there for them and telling them it's okay. I will make sure that they get, I will give them pumpkins. The pumpkin seeds is a natural dewormer from what we were told. So far it seems to work. If my girls look a little sickly, I will add a tablespoon to a gallon of water of apple cider vinegar, because that helps with their digestive system. Occasionally in the summertime I will do that because it's like an electrolyte to them in the really bad heat. So that just helps their lifespan. The type of feed you get, that'll be up to you, and the feed can range anywhere from $10.25 up to $15 a bag. So please know, and I don't know if they're going to rise even more right now, but this is what it's been. You are going to fork out the feed. The more you have, the more you're going to have to buy. So please know that if you're going to raise chickens, it's going to be costly. You have to do secured in your chicken coops, so it's going to require the amount of lumber and the wire that it takes to keep your babies safe. Pine shavings, do not. Stay away from cedar shavings, period. Cedar shavings is really harsh on their respiratory system, and honestly, y'all, you risk giving them respiratory infection and killing them. Pine will be your friend. Pine, no cedar, nothing cedar. So, and I've had some of them said, well, what about no cedar whatsoever. Keep it pine. Pine is safe. You can even use pine needles, yes. I'm thinking I'm covering everything that there is. Baby stages, adult stages, feed, coop. I think I covered everything, y'all. So if there's still something that I haven't covered, and make sure you put it in the description below, and I will answer you as soon as I get it. I will answer you right there in the description box. Now I will take you to see my girls, and we are reconstructing our coop. It is Lord, 6 or 7 years old, so we need to do some upgrading work. So once we get that taken care of, they're going to get a new to them chicken coop, because it's going to be almost like having a sunroof. They're going to get their own little condos. So, but I will take you to see the girls in just a minute here. Okay, y'all, so this is, so far up here is where we're going to change this over. We have this wood up here, and we're going to change that over to that clear plastic like. And so this is the whole inside up here, where I put the water right there. We're going to be changing all of this in here, and we may make a connector into this one over here, so they have one big run. So, or we're going to divide them up by breeds, one of the two. But I'm going to show you, see if I can do this. I'm one-handed right now, so I'm going to see if I can go ahead and show you what happens to these girls. They know I've got feed in my hand. See their attention? Watch. Now watch what happens to see if they'll do this. It makes it hard for me to get in the door. This, y'all, the white one, this is a Brahma. The little dark one over here, I don't know if you can see it very well. That's my little Easter egger. She's got her puffed out cheeks. Let's see. Hang in there, guys. All right. Hey, y'all. Hi. Hi. You seeing what I got? Huh? You seeing what I got? See how red their faces are, y'all? That's who I know who's laying eggs. Otherwise, they're kind of a pinkish color. But if their faces are dark red, those are your egg layers. So they're mature enough to be laying eggs. All right, girls, come on. There we go. Hey, Mom's got feed. Hey, guys. Here they come. All of them are coming now. Here goes the rest. Yay! Mom's coming. I love these girls. They're amazing. So here comes big girl right over here. Come on, little girl. Bless your heart. She's so big. Goodness. So this is my chickens, and we don't have very many anymore because, well, like I said, my girls are old, y'all. So I really do need to restock. I'm just letting them live with us and do their thing. We can go check for some eggs right quick. Here we go. Got one right here. So we made this whole entire run down here, all nesting box, and I fill them in with some of this pine shavings. In here needs to be worked on too, so let's go see if I can get some more of these eggs right quick. Okay, y'all, so that will conclude just about everything about a chicken you might need. One other thing though, egg laying. I did forget that. Hens do not lay every single day. No, sir, get down. They do not lay every single day. You will get maybe 1 or 2 eggs. They will stop for a day and maybe a day or 2, and they'll pick up again. They lay, if one hen will lay on the average 3 to 4 a week. And that process, they have to regenerate their egg system. So it allows them to do that, so they have a break in between. Having a good multiples. Now what I have out there, if you were to count them all out, I have 11 chickens. 1 being the roosters, so I have 10. No, I have 10 altogether. I have 9 hens and 1 rooster. If you are going to raise babies, that would be a good ratio for that. You can go slightly less, but don't go too much because you don't want the hens to be wore completely out. Trust me when I say the rooster will wear them out to the point he will take all their feathers off them, and it will be really, really hard and stressful on the hens. Make sure you have a good amount of hens per rooster. So, and again, you don't need a rooster. If you just want the eggs, you do need just hens. So that's just the way that is, y'all. So you won't get eggs every day, but you will get a good amount to keep you going. So if you have even 5 hens, you should have enough to give you at least a dozen a week. So anything less than that, though, you'll be waiting for a little while. Eggs. Now, this is something most people don't talk about, but it is something that is actually true. Now, I have seen, I don't know about waiting that long, but I will say this. So you saw me pick up that egg. Hang on a second. Here are my eggs, y'all. I'm not going to turn this, but these are my eggs. These are sitting on my counter. Now you're like, Miss Carrie, are you kidding? No, I'm not. What happens is if you've got nice clean eggs like this straight off the nest, I keep pine shavings for that reason. I want to keep my eggs clean. There is something called a bloom. On these, you do not want to wash these off. If you do not wash them, you have clean eggs that you had picked up. You can leave them in a basket on your counter for up to 2 weeks. After that, you would want to do what's called float checking. You would put them in some kind of warm water. If your eggs lay down, they're good. If your eggs start going up and still at the bottom, they're almost, hold on a minute. Okay, y'all, so where we left off at. If your egg floats like this at the top, but it's still at the bottom, that means it's still usable. It's just about to go bad. And of course, if it comes to the top, please cash that puppy out because it's a goner. Just telling you. What can you do? You can, if your eggs are like this, at this point, I would take them off the counter. Honestly, wash them under running water, nice cool running water. Clean them off really good. Stick them in your refrigerator. You should still be fine. You can after 2 weeks. Now, some people said they kept them on there for a month. I've never pushed mine. My limit is 2 weeks. I'm washing mine and I'm sticking them in the refrigerator. If they're already clean, just put them in the fridge. There's another process that they do called water glassing. I am going to be honest with you. I am not comfortable with water glassing. If not careful, it can be extremely dangerous because you're using a calcium hydroxide in this solution, and you definitely want nothing but absolute clean eggs, uncracked, not a pinhole in them. You will absolutely ruin an entire batch if you do not do this correctly. Sometimes they can crack if you have too many in your container. I don't fool with it, y'all. I will take and freeze my eggs. I will scramble them in egg or muffin pans that has been slightly greased, put them in my freezer, and then I will put them in Ziploc bags in individuals. You can make breakfast burritos out of them. You can absolutely scramble them. It would be hard to use them because now they've been frozen, adding extra liquid, so baking with them would be exceptionally hard. If you are fortunate enough, and I am not, fortunate enough to have an, what do they call those, freeze dryer. If you're fortunate enough to have a freeze dryer and you're watching my video, you can actually make powdered eggs out of them. These are safer methods, y'all, than anything else. Another way, you can actually cook these eggs and make biscuits out of them or whatever. Wrap them up, put them in your freezer, and all you have to do is reheat and eat. So these are options if you get too many eggs, and if you decide to, you can either give them away to family and friends or even sell them. So these are options. I rather do those options than water glassing. So if it comes to water glassing, y'all, I'm letting you know right off the bat, not me. I don't do this. So I'm not brave enough to try it. And that would conclude this episode. Miss Jeanette, I hope this helped you in a lot of ways. I will go ahead and again, this is the stuff that I have. It's hard to see with this. For my baby chicks, it's a Vitamin Plus from, like I said, this is from Georgia. It's got a buku amount of vitamins, magnesium, potassium, salt. This thing is like an electrolyte that is amazing for babies. I had an old batch, now I have some fresh, and I'm fixing to go in there because these babies need some help. I already lost one, so I went from 10 down to 9. I don't want to lose any more. So I'm going to switch this out and give my babies the best because I want them to thrive. And I am working on getting more stocks after the news I got this morning. I'm not getting the ones I thought I was going to get, so go figure. But anyways, we'll get through this and I will be able to get new stocks. So when I do, I'll let y'all know. In the meantime, I love you dearly and we will come back Friday. I am getting ready, y'all, to start canning on my beans. It's time and I need to get some stuff done. So, and as you know, yep, we changed everything around. This is my cooking station here. Over here, we now have our milling station. And then right over on the other side of that is my coffee. So, this girl is ready to rock and roll this year, y'all, in the Mediterranean way. So, until next time, much love from Parton's Mediterranean Homestead. Mwah. Love y'all.